Catherine Paiz is married. On September 28th, the YouTuber shares the exciting news that she has tied the knot with tattoo artist Igor 10 just weeks after revealing they were engaged. For Igor's part, he takes a moment to reflect on their sweet relationship milestone following their nuptials. Writing over a pic of his now wife, "Seeing you walk into the church was the most incredible moment of my life. I will cherish that memory forever. I love you more than anything in this life."
I met him on my Brazil retreat. It was over between us. And it had been many years of us just not having this emotional, intimate marriage that I thought we were gonna have. Right before I went on that trip, like the months leading up to that trip, I kept thinking I have so much baggage. When we officially divorce, nobody's gonna want me. I have 3 kids. And I thought, I'm just gonna be alone forever. And I thought, I'm okay. I met him, it was a friendship. It was like, never imagined that anything would ever go further, ever in a million years. And I've never felt so safe in my entire life.
I'm not the Ace family, but he's the Ace family.
Not the Ace family anymore, but thank you so much. No, I'm playing. The C family now. Steele, L, and Leia. C family.
That's cute. They got the food and it looks good.
How do Austin and Igor feel about each other?
I can't speak for Austin because I don't know. I think like what he's done publicly to kind of just like, he got him a shirt on Christmas that says something about father or something. And I thought, okay, is he doing this for the Snapchat?
When it comes to me stepping out of my marriage, I did. I 100% stepped out of my marriage. Completely wrong for me to do it. I take full accountability. If I can go back and change it, I would. And I'm sorry for that. I truly am. But when it comes to her acting like she had no idea what was going on, that is a complete lie. Catherine knew what I was dealing with for a very long time. I would come to her and I would voice how I feel about how I felt like I was getting no affection from her. There was a year period where we had no sex and I would vent to her telling her what I needed. And her exact words verbatim on my kids, she said, "Just don't make me look dumb. Don't embarrass me." I don't know what that means to you guys, but to me it sounds like, go do whatever you need to do.
Catherine Paiz just got married, but this wasn't your typical influencer wedding. It was emotional, raw, and surprisingly revealing. From the tears in her voice to the words she chose, fans couldn't shake the feeling that Catherine wasn't just celebrating a new chapter, she was closing an old one. The way she spoke about her first real marriage had people convinced she might have finally admitted what everyone suspected for years, that the Ace family's so-called wedding might have never been real at all. For longtime followers, it's a surreal full-circle moment. Catherine, once one half of YouTube's most famous couple, is now walking down the aisle with someone completely new, completely different. And the internet can't stop asking the same question. Was this her way of quietly exposing everything that happened behind the scenes with Austin McBroom? While Catherine was sharing her emotional wedding moments online, Austin was live streaming, addressing the situation in a way that left everyone talking. His reaction, her captions, and even the timing of their posts have all fueled theories that this wasn't just a wedding, it was a statement. And if you followed their story from the Ace family's golden era to the downfall that followed, you already know nothing about Catherine's words is ever random. So let's rewind and break down exactly what happened, what she said, and why people think this wedding might have finally exposed the truth behind one of YouTube's most controversial love stories. When Catherine shared her wedding moments online, you could instantly tell this one hit differently. In one of the clips, she's holding her wedding dress, hands trembling slightly as she tries to speak. Her voice cracks before she even finishes the sentence. She laughs nervously through tears and says, "I never thought in a million years that I'd be walking down the aisle to someone so perfect."
Out in the mail is my wedding dress. Card, maybe the card first. Guys, this is... I love it so much. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Crying for joy and gratitude, but it's just so crazy. Like, I never thought in a million years that I would be walking down the aisle to like such a perfect, incredible person.
That line alone sent shockwaves across social media, because for years, Catherine had already been supposedly married. The Ace family built their entire brand around that image. The dream couple, the perfect family, the fairy tale marriage. So when Catherine said, "I never thought this would happen to me," fans froze. What did she mean by this? You can see genuine disbelief on her face. Her voice shakes as she says she's crying from joy and gratitude, but also because she can't believe this is real. She repeats the word crazy again and again, almost as if she's processing her own emotions in real time, and that's when fans started to connect the dots. Because if this is her first time feeling this way, then what was all that talk about being married to Austin years ago? Was that even real? Or just part of the show? What makes it even more powerful is the contrast. Back then, everything the Ace family shared felt curated, scripted, perfect. This new Catherine? She's vulnerable, tearful, and unfiltered. The total opposite of what she used to project. But the real twist? The timing of her words. Because right after Catherine's heartfelt post went viral, people began resurfacing clips from the Ace family era, moments that now seem a lot more suspicious. And when you look back at what Austin and Catherine said about their secret marriage, the inconsistencies start piling up fast. In their We Got Married the Truth video, Austin and Catherine sat side by side, smiling awkwardly, trying to convince millions of fans that they had, in fact, been secretly married for 2 years. But something about it always felt off. They explained that their wedding happened in their backyard, that no one from their families was there, and that it was done in, of all things, flip-flops. Catherine even admitted she didn't wear a dress, her dad didn't walk her down the aisle, and there were no vows, no flowers, no music. Austin tried to justify it by saying they wanted to keep it private. Catherine said it was special for them. But as they spoke, the energy between them didn't feel like two people reminiscing about a sacred day. It felt rehearsed, like they were reading from the same PR manual. What made people side-eye the whole thing even more was when they decided to reveal it. The video dropped right after Austin got slammed with another wave of cheating allegations. His name was all over gossip channels, screenshots were circulating, and his image was crumbling fast. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, they decide to announce, "We've actually been married for 2 years." In that same video, they admitted their parents didn't even know at first. Catherine said she called her dad on the phone to tell him she'd already gotten married, and that some relatives were upset they weren't told. She said they didn't invite anyone because they didn't want to make it real. That's the part that stuck with people. Didn't want to make it real? It was as if they were acknowledging that whatever happened in that backyard wasn't a true marriage, more like a symbolic gesture that they could use to control their public image. Austin kept saying, "We never said we weren't married. We just didn't say that we were." That kind of double talk became their signature. Always vague, always calculated. And when you compare that tone to the emotional honesty of Catherine's recent wedding, the difference is night and day. Because back then she seemed guarded, cautious, almost like someone trying to convince herself. But now, she's free, expressive, and genuinely happy. And maybe that's why this new wedding feels like the real one. Not just for Catherine, but for the fans who've been watching her untangle herself from the Ace family image for years. The moment Catherine's wedding posts hit social media, the internet lit up. But it flooded the comments, calling this her first real marriage. They pointed out how her words, "I never thought this would happen to me," sounded like quiet shade aimed straight at Austin. Some even said she was softly exposing how fake that first wedding really was. And honestly, it's hard not to see it that way. Because everything about this new ceremony felt intentional. The church setting, the emotional vows, the friends and family actually being there. It wasn't some backyard flip-flop moment with an iPhone camera rolling. It was sacred, meaningful, and public. The exact opposite of what she once pretended to have. One fan tweeted, "You can literally see the difference in her eyes. This is her real beginning." Another said, "Catherine's glow isn't just love, it's relief." But beyond the comments, the energy of the entire event told the story itself. Her now husband, Igor, posted heartfelt messages like, "Seeing you walk into the church was the most incredible moment of my life." Meanwhile, Catherine shared snaps of herself, captioned with words like,
Going to the wedding, I think I've already addressed this before. I'm not going to the wedding. I think it's important for Catherine and Igor to have their moment. I would hate to take anything away from them. But like I told you guys, as long as my kids are there, I think that's what's most important. I'll be here doing my thing and I'll be supporting from a distance. They have my support and I'm very happy for them. And it's funny because I always get people saying like, he's crashing out or he's sad because his ex is getting married, because his ex-wife is getting married. Guys, I'm not. Guys, it's been basically 2 years. It's been a little over 2 years, guys, that there's been change. And I've always wanted what's best for her, and I've always told you guys that as long as the mother of my kids are happy.
I feel complete. Complete. That word hit people hard, because for years she'd lived in a world built on illusion, perfection, and control. And now, that mask was gone. To outsiders, it looked like just another influencer wedding. But to those who followed the Ace family's chaotic rise and fall, it felt like Catherine was quietly rewriting her narrative and finally stepping out of Austin's shadow. But of course, no Ace family story would be complete without some drama. And this time, it came from Austin himself. Because just as Catherine's fairy tale unfolded, Austin decided to speak up. And the way he did it, well, let's just say it had people rolling their eyes. As Catherine was celebrating what looked like the happiest moment of her life, Austin McBroom was, predictably, online. And not just watching, talking. After fans noticed he wasn't at the wedding, rumors started flying that he'd been uninvited. Screenshots and clips began circulating of Austin hinting at issues and boundaries, and people immediately knew. Something had gone down behind the scenes. At first, Austin tried to play it cool. On stream, he said he chose not to go because he didn't want to take away from their moment. He smiled, he sounded calm, but the internet wasn't buying it. Everyone remembered his earlier comments, the ones that supposedly got him uninvited in the first place. It didn't help that his brother Landon basically confirmed it. He posted that since Austin wasn't going, he wouldn't be attending either, then casually threw a birthday dinner that same night. The timing wasn't lost on anyone. Fans immediately called it a family statement, but Austin's explanation was what really caught attention. He told his viewers, "It's been over 2 years. I want the best for her. As long as the mother of my kids is happy, I'm happy." On paper, it sounded mature, but his tone told a different story. People clipped the stream and pointed out how forced his smile looked, how his voice dipped every time Catherine's name came up. It felt like he was holding back something. Frustration, jealousy, maybe even regret. And then came the line that made everyone cringe. "I always get people saying I'm sad because my ex-wife is getting married. Guys, I'm not sad." That denial, paired with the shaky delivery, was enough for social media to call him out. One comment read, "If you have to say you're not sad 3 times in a row, you're definitely sad." Another joked, "He's streaming his coping era." But beneath the memes, there was something deeper, because for the first time, Austin wasn't in control of the narrative. He wasn't the one telling the story. Catherine was, and that seemed to sting. Fans dug up old clips of him dismissing their marriage, even claiming it only happened because of legal stuff, since Catherine wasn't a US citizen at the time. The contrast was painful. A man who once treated their wedding like a formality now watching his ex have the moment he never gave her. And no matter how much he tried to act unfazed, everyone could see it. Austin wasn't just watching Catherine move on, he was watching her heal. By the time the wedding was over, the internet had already made up its mind. This wasn't just a ceremony, it was Catherine Paiz's closure. Clips from the event flooded TikTok and Twitter, showing her walking down the aisle glowing in a way people said they hadn't seen in years. Fans called it the rebirth of Catherine, saying she finally looked like herself again, no longer trapped in a brand, no longer pretending for a camera. Even those who never liked the Ace family were rooting for her. It wasn't about choosing sides anymore. It was about seeing someone finally escape the chaos that had defined her public image for so long. For once, the spotlight wasn't about drama or clickbait or scandal. It was about peace. Catherine posted a message afterwards saying, "I feel complete. It was better than I could have ever imagined." And for people who'd followed her story from the beginning, that line hit hard, because this was the same woman who once admitted in her own heartbroken over never getting her dream wedding, the one with vows, family, music, and a real dress, the one she said she'd always imagined but never got. Now she had it. Meanwhile, Igor's words echoed that same emotion. He wrote, "Seeing you walk into the church was the most incredible moment of my life. I'll cherish that memory forever." It wasn't flashy or attention-seeking, it was raw, simple, sincere, the exact opposite of the Ace family's polished perfection. And that's what made this entire story so powerful. For years, Catherine was part of one of YouTube's most famous couples. A relationship built on carefully edited videos and public displays of love that hid what was really going on behind the scenes. But now she wasn't performing anymore. This was real life. The laughter, the tears, the family, the vows. Everything she was once missing, she finally got to experience, and she shared it on her own terms. So while Austin was online trying to act unbothered, Catherine was walking into a new chapter that didn't need to be live-streamed, monetized, or approved by anyone. Because this time, she didn't need validation from a fan base, just from herself. And in that quiet, beautiful way, Catherine Paiz didn't just get married, she reclaimed her story. Catherine's wedding wasn't just the end of a love story, it was the beginning of something deeper. A quiet correction to years of noise, fame, and false perfection. For the longest time, the Ace family stood as the ultimate example of the influencer dream. The perfect couple, the perfect family, the perfect life. But somewhere between the brand deals, scandals, and carefully edited smiles, the truth got lost. And now, standing in her gown, tears streaming down her face, Catherine brought that truth back into focus. It turns out the fairy tale wasn't real. But the lesson was, because when she said, "I never thought this would happen for me," she wasn't just talking about love. She was talking about healing, about letting go of a story that never really belonged to her, and finally writing her own. No camera crew, no brand tie-ins, no pressure to prove anything. Just a woman, vulnerable, free, and genuinely happy for the first time in years. And that's why this moment hit differently. It wasn't about who she married, it was about what she overcame. As the internet continues dissecting the clips and debating what it all means, Catherine's silence says enough. She doesn't need to defend her past anymore, because her present already speaks volumes. The Ace family era might have ended in controversy, but Catherine's story didn't end there. It just started on her own terms. And maybe that's the most poetic twist of all. After years of pretending to live a perfect life, she finally got a real one.